Welcome to the 2016 Honda Tints Build Day 21. We are getting down to the wire, people. All the displays have had their basics in. Sue-Ann, the set dresser, has been in here doing some of the detail work in some of the displays. Still has more to do. I finished up the water room yesterday, as you guys saw if you watched yesterday's vlog, along with a couple of other things, the bookshelf, and Sue-Ann's even got some stuff on the bookshelf. Interesting. I don't know if she has anything underneath the tarps. We've had those on because of the rain. Getting in here, I've got to turn on the blow ups. Oh, the big mystical magical bags of air and weird wonky camera angle there. Just getting out here, as you just saw. I was plugging in the blow-ups, kind of walking the haunt a little bit. No, not a little bit. I'm going to be walking the whole thing. And you guys are coming along with me. We are now into the electrical phase of the build. Sorry, wall fell over. Bracing in electrical. I've got bracing to do out here in some spots, and I might just do it as I go instead of stopping and doing it all now. I should just stop and do it all now so it's done and out of the way. And then we gotta get the power pole hooked up, we gotta get the trunk lines ran, and we gotta get the power station out here. Once we reach that point, I have no idea what's going to happen. Technically, I need to run through and everything that has one of those plugs on it, right there, has got to get wired up. In other words, I got to get all the 110 stuff ran. Did want to show you the sewer room, and I just walked through it without showing it to you. So why don't we go back to the other end, and we'll show you the sewer room. Now, I did want to apologize yesterday. My camera has been acting weird. You got some old-fashioned black and white black and white footage. I don't know how much longer you're going to be getting. This camera's going to be working. Right now, I've got it set for HD. So, anyway, sewer room. They come in here. They'll see the bubblers and Fred and his two pets. Then they turn the corner and right into the water wall, which we've got all sorts of goodies ready to go floating. And then they get over here. Oh, and I did get the plywood and the netting on the boxes, and it is black. Screen is what I put on there. It's just dusty. Once it gets wet, it will go back to black. It needs to be washed off, and a little bit of dirt in the ponds isn't going to hurt nothing. But we do have some stuff in the ponds ready for floating. And we got zombie bait there, so we're good to go that way. And then into the witches display, and as you can see, Sue-Ann's been populating things, so it's looking good. She even got some of her fresh herbs, which we have for sale by the bottle on our Etsy store called Haunted Treasures. Yeah, she put those in for display. Some extra stuff she wasn't planning on drying this year. We got plenty of it. So, and then we hit the exit, and I'm out of here. I gotta get the truck moved, the flag up, and we're gonna go ahead and get busy. Like I said, we're gonna be jumping all over the place in the haunt, so I'm not exactly sure what type of footage you're going to be getting, because some of the stuff like the ponds, I can't plug the hook the pumps up to electricity. You know, I can get them wired, I just can't get them plugged in until there's water in the ponds, and the water won't be going in for several days. But past that, We'll see you next segment. Trev, you wanted your question answered. You're going to get it right from the set dresser now. Trev 27 would like to have a closet update.
A closet update?
Yes, a closet update. Did you find what you were looking for?
No.
Do you have any idea where it's at?
No.
Do you have any skeletons in your closet?
No.
Is there anything about your closet you would like to know? Or that they should know about?
No.
Well, there you go, Trev. Direct answer right from the set dresser. Okay, just got done walking the haunt with a tablet, my tape measure, and measuring for bracing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Looks like I'm going to need 26 pieces of bracing. I've got 16 pieces that are 34 inches long that just go from a corner to brace up the wall. A lot of those. These measurements here are all inches, 46 inches, 38 inches, 36, 36 inches. And you notice I got some of the different displays listed. Those are for the rods that aren't really bracing, but they go from here to here, and I hang a black tarp curtain down. So I gotta get those in too. So if I'm going to be doing these, I might as well be doing these and just work my way through the haunt, putting bracing in. Now that I got all my measurements down, I need to get out in the shop, get all the pieces cut, marked, and then bring them out here and put them in. Project 1 on the way. Phase 1, aka the bracing, is done. I walked the whole haunt, and on corners and stuff like this I added some bracing. There's a couple other areas where I added some specialty bracing. I even added some bracing to the entrance of each display. You know, like from here they're going to be coming from the pirate display into the courtyard. There's a piece of bracing here, and we'll be using that to hang black plastic tarp so they can't see what's coming. They can't see from one display to the next. Clown hallway has the same thing. Another piece of bracing, black curtain right here. So it's there, it's getting there. Now our next major project is the power pole right there. You gotta drag it out, and it's going in this position somewhere here. Then all our electrical from the haunt, the AC, runs to it. I'm kind of not looking forward to doing it because it's a pain in the butt having to hook it up. Plus I lose power in the shop because I de-hook everything in the shop to tie that in. So I'm not looking forward to losing it. But that's going to be our next step. We got to get that into place, and then I got to unplug the blow-ups and run their master power cord through all the walls, down here across the ground and into the power pole so I can plug the power pole in, or plug them in there. Fun. Alright, we got the power pole placed, and we got the wire ran in through here, through the doggy door. The doggy door is coming in handy, even though Kaylee's too big for it. Our last dog could fit through that and like to come in and visit me in the shop. But we got it ran through there, and I've got it set up, clamped in my vise at the moment, and it will stay like that. That way someone trips on the cord or whatever, it doesn't yank it out of the circuit breaker box. And I got my wires fed up into here. I got to start making connections. Now, if you've never seen the inside of a circuit breaker box, there you go. This one here that has the red and the black wire to it are the main power from the house. These 4 go out to different things in my shop. One of them does the outlets on the wall. Another one does the light. And then a third one powers that outlet right there. So it's on its own dedicated line. And then the fourth one runs the floodlights out on the out in the backyard. What I've got to do now is I'm going to throw the master switch, killing power to these 4, and I've got to de-hook all the wires from the 4 circuit breakers and wire up all the black wires to those. I've got 4 black wires for 4 circuit breakers. And then I'll come over here and I'll detach white and copper wires off that bar, so I gotta attach the white and green or ground wires to that, and we're good to go. Now I can go out and test everything, make sure everything's working right. This is the part I hate. I don't mind doing electrical. In fact, I love doing electrical work. It's fun. When there's no power going to it at all. I've seen some nasty accidents with people touching the wrong things, and I've done it once or twice too when I was in school learning how to do it. Melted a couple of screwdrivers, so I have a healthy respect for 110 current. So I always get a little nervous at this stage, but anyway, I'm gonna keep my nerves under control, and we're gonna get that wiring mess taken care of. Okay, a couple nervous minutes later. About 15 minutes later, I take my time when I'm working on a live box, but it's all wired. These wires here go to the outlets and the light outside and whatever. I just got them down loose and out of the way. But the power pole has power. I took my tester out, plugged it into each of the boxes. It came up fine. So we've got power out there now. Unfortunately, I do not have power in here any longer. It is a dead garage, and will be like that until after the haunt has closed. So if I need to do any work out here, I'm going to have to use this little toy and an extension cord to power my tools. Fun! Well, you've seen the power pole. It's been put in. Orange cords for the blow-ups, so we got the blow-ups plugged in back here instead of the front of the house. And I went and got the trunk lines brought out. But another thing I'm going to need with the trunk lines is I'm going to end up needing those. Those are all extension cords. And at one time, before we converted the haunt over to low voltage, we used all these for AC, for running all the lights and everything. Now that everything is over low voltage, we don't use hardly any of those. I shouldn't say it. We'll use about half of them. Trunk lines, I gotta get those in next, and that's these here. You can get them down at Costco, over where they carry their construction stuff. It's just an extension cord with outlets in it, spliced into it. And I normally run one down this area, down the driveway, to power the AC stuff on the driveway. I run another one down the middle of the haunt into the blacklight room to power that stuff, and then I run a third one along the front of the house usually, over into the gypsy and around the corner and down the far side. I got a problem this year. Let me show you. I wanted to show you what I ended up coming up with. I'm still working on the first trunk line. I'm just finishing it up. I got the end of the trunk line down there. You can see the plug-in, and you can see a brown extension cord laying there too. We'll zoom it in. And what I ended up doing is I dropped it down behind that panel, and it's up there. Brown extension cord. There's a three-way there, so I can plug in other things if need be. Now, when I get done with all the wiring and it's ready to go, I'll take some clear cellophane and I'll wrap that whole thing so water can't get into it. If you're working with electrical outside, you either need to have some sort of container for your plug, that can be covered, so water doesn't get into it. Or what I normally do is just cellophane the crap out of the connections. They're out in the open. And that one is out in the open, even though it is underneath a tree. Then I ran it across the top of the wall here. We'll go around the other side so you can see the continuation of it. Okay, after it came over the wall, I ran it through the tent frame. And this one, since it's under cover, I'm not going to do anything with. I'll just leave it just like that. But I got two extension cords plugged into it. One of them runs over to that wall and drops down the wall and comes out down below. So I'll be able to plug in things, from this display. The other extension cord runs over here, and I got my harvester on the other side of the wall in the corn over there. Now this one, that's the end of it. I got another three-way, and I've got two cords up there, which I've got to finish messing with. One runs across the plywood and over into the spider there on the wall, And I've actually got it inside the wall panel and plugged in and ready to go. The other one runs from the plywood, and you can see the cord there all the way over to here, and it's just hanging here for now. That will be my connection. I can get my stuff, whatever I need AC wise, in here, hooked up, plug it into here, and then I'll take this panel loose and drop it down inside the panel so it can't be seen, and it's hidden and it's a little bit more protected. So, you know, that's the solution I came up with. I've got a couple of little things I still need to do with it to secure the cords, and I want to get that connection up there, up off the plywood, so it's, well, I don't know, I'll have to take a look at it, but I need to protect it a little bit from the weather. Even though it is underneath the tent, the plywood does slope there and the water runs off. I really don't want it sitting and running water. So, all these little things you gotta do when you're messing with a 110. I just got done with trunk line 1. I've got it hooked up to power, and I have 2 things hooked up to it. One of them is that, so it's working. The other one was a Harbinger, and it was going off as I was going through. It automatically goes off when it first gets power, so I know it's working. So the trunk line is alive and working well. I did have one little bit of a problem. I picked up 2 new 100-foot extension cords, this being one of them. Decided I'd use them in the haunt and retire a couple of my old ones. Got stretched out, went to plug it in, and you'll notice there's a little gray thing in between it and the trunk line. It's a 3-prong adapter. The green line, and I'll zoom it back out, is only 2-prong, not 3-prong. I didn't even know they were still making 2-prong. I thought everything was 3-prong, but apparently not. So Harbinger, you going off? Yep.
These are the fields of fear, where your nightmares come to life.
I like that one. Fields of Fear. And he's in the cornhole. Cornhole, or for Baldy Jack, cornhole, cornhole, cornhole alert, Baldy Jack, cornhole. There you go. Anyway, trunk line 1 is officially done and working. I still got all the other stuff to get plugged into it. I will do that later. Right now, I need to get trunk line 2 up and running. This is the one that will run into the blacklight room. I just finished trunk line 2, and the only thing I have plugged into it so far are the carriage lights out front. Let's see, they both working? Yeah. See that there? That one's working, and that one over there is working. Okay, that tells me then that that trunk line 2 is okay. Now, the trunk lines, trunk line 1, the first one I ran, that had the lighted spider and the Harbinger on it. That one does the Gypsy, the photo hall, and the lighted spider in the spider display, and the we'll do the bump out where the bubbling tubes are. Number 2, trunk line 2, will do the cornhole, the rest of the water room, the witch, and those 2 carriage lights out in the photo op. Trunk line 3, which I have not ran yet, will do pretty much everything else. It will do both rooms in the Pirate, it will do the mausoleum, and it will do the graveyard and that area, which I've still got to run yet. But before I do that, I got a safety issue I need to take care of. I've got 3 cords running through here, trunk line 1, trunk line 2, and the blow-ups. And they're kind of a tripping hazard the way they are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start zip tying them about every foot to 2 foot together all the way back to the power pole. And I'll bind them together so they're not much, so much of a tripping hazard. Okay, you can see the lights a little bit better. We got to give you a shot at that. Got them up. They really don't light up the graveyard all that much. They're more of an accent piece. Especially when that guy gets going, he kind of just dominates everything. Yeah, the reason why I gave you a shot of the carriage lights at night was because we are now into end of the day wrap up. I was getting ready to unplug them, that and the blow ups, and park the truck. Excuse me, furball. It's only about 7:30 or so. I'm calling it quits early out here for a reason. The only thing I have left to do out here for today is right over there on that table. That's trunk line 3. And I've tried installing those in the dark before, with dragging a light around with me or whatever. It's a pain in the ass. So I'm gonna wait, and I'll do that first thing in the morning, get that done and in, and then we can start installing some of the AC stuff tomorrow, which is the plan. Now, with me getting done so early out here and calling it quits early out here, I am going to head into the house, get you guys edited, and or I should say not you guys, but get this vlog edited. And then I'm going to start working on one of my side projects. I showed you these earlier in the season. They're a ceramic skull. They're also hollow. Hole in the bottom. I was going to mount these to a plaque, kind of on little pedestals. I've got 3 of them. That's going to have to wait for next year. This will be one of my builds during the winter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some flicker LEDs out, my yellow ones, do a clip of 3 of them, and I'm just going to install them with a dab of hot glue in the bottom of them, so these things will light up. And so Anne's going to place them on the Ouija board table in the gypsy display. They'll be individually wired, and instead of mounted on a plaque altogether with only one lead coming off. But hey, that's better than nothing. So I'm going to work on that. I've got another little wiring job to do. I got to get red LEDs and the gargoyles. Anyway, all these little projects, I keep saying I'm waiting for a rainy day. I don't know if we're going to have any of them. And we're almost done with the build and getting into the wiring end, so I need to get them done. So I'm going to try to work on them tonight, provided I can get my lazy butt out of my chair once I'm done editing this vlog. Made some progress today, got all the bracing done. Swan got out here and did her set dresser roll again, got some more stuff done. And it's looking good. And then we got trunk line 1 and trunk line 2 plugged in. We have stuff plugged into them. That leaves trunk line 3 for tomorrow, and then bringing out all the electrical stuff. And I think I got about 6 or 7 tubs of that downstairs, and we could start going through that and getting different pieces into their different displays and getting them wired. And we'll see when we can start getting these displays knocked out and done, which is the goal, so they say. So we will see you in the funny papers, people. Stay spooky, stay toxic.